Okay, all right, team. So, Rich Get Richer is the story of the last lecture, and it will be again today. But we'll have a different approach to how it, from Mandelbrot, as to how we get there, right? So, super interesting thing, very powerful mechanism, enormously prevalent kind of feature of a lot of, especially socio-technical systems, but all sorts of systems, these skewed distributions with heavy tails, often related to success in some way. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that at the end of these first slides. So let me just say where we are, right? So the website still exists. I've been upgrading the slides, so there are more slides now. I split this one into two. This kind of happens as things go along. This is now two pieces. There are three parts, I guess, now for mechanisms giving rise to power law, size distributions. So many interesting things. This will be a piece where we come back to talking about fundamentals in general, right? So there's going to be some good stuff about emergence, and then stat mech. And so there's a really kind of some big principles in there. And then a really enormous story here. And these things are coupled together. This is actually from Coconuts, my complex networks course, but I've shifted it into here. So about robustness of systems and how a lot of systems seem to compartmentalize themselves to minimize risk in some way, right? So the emblem for not doing that very well is that thing. Okay. All right. And then there's a whole section that comes after this, which will be about networks, and then we'll get to things like contagion and spreading, and then fame and stories and why billions of people can be harmoniously wrong, which is a good thing to know about humanity. All right. It's true. We proved it. Okay. All right. So I've changed this, and I'm happy to have feedback from people. I know these slides, if you ever look at them, can be enormously heavy in terms of megabytes. So this is the handout one. If you ever like printing these things out, or you just want to look at them, now it's sort of a 3x3, but I can adapt this. I made it more adaptable. So if that's of interest to you, please just talk to me personally. I did add this thing last, and this is only for a few, I suppose, but it does give you the date and time of compiling. So if you ever look at that, you can see what's happened. All right, so that's all there now. So these things should look a little better. Right, there's the handout. Yeah, so it's an order of 6 in terms of size there. Okay, so those things are coming along. The ridiculous episode thing, I keep adding them. This is where we are. Right, so this will be fun. That's this week, or maybe you've been working on it already, and I'm happy to discuss. This is again to give you a sense of where we've gone, right? So we've moved through, we had this kind of introduction part, scaling, and then in general, power law, size distributions, and then a couple of mechanisms. These are, I suppose, a little bit out of order, random walks, and then transformation of variables. This is Herbert Simon. This is what we're going to talk about today. This is Mandelbrot. This is this peculiar thing about Benford's law. You shouldn't shit on your taxes. For various reasons, but one is you'll get caught easily. This is the robustness issue. So lots to go, right? I mean, we don't get through all of these cards, but that's just a little start. All right. For some reason, yeah, this is a Borges reference for those of you who are Borges fans. All right. Something to do with sand piles and books of sand. All right. So I know I said that a lot. That's good.